Welcome to the Lesbian Romantic Podcast. This is Waking Up is Easy, Part 26. This is where it gets a little complicated and messy. Maybe I should say, even more complicated and even more messy. I told you the guy who was with Usha was not really a known criminal. And he truly wasn't. But then why was Usha found alone and unconscious in a stolen car? It's very silly, really. Usha, then Casey, had borrowed the car from a friend who had told her she could borrow it. But the car wasn't the property of the friend, and the actual owner of the car, the friend's mother, reported it stolen. The charges were dropped, of course. If you think that is some disappointing, low-budget soap opera story development without full closure, I am sorry to inform you that much of life is exactly that. Not a cheap soap opera, but definitely messy stories about messy human lives, often blown out of proportion by ourselves and others. Now, Usha was found alone, which means the driver of the car fled the scene after the accident. This, of course, makes him a bit of a... well, let's keep this episode clean. But maybe the guy knew what the police would do if they did get their hands on him, because of his prior pot offense. But that is a sad story for another day. Yes, I sound a little tired and cynical today. I can't help it. I think it's because I am embarrassed by my own story. Sarcasm and cynicism are great armor. You can always hide behind sarcasm. People will think you're funny, and you get to stay hidden. It's very convenient. But I live with someone who sees right through all that. Usha doesn't do sarcasm. She doesn't do cynicism. It seems like whatever happened to her in that coma, it erased the need or capacity to be cynical. And that's why I asked her for help while sharing my story with you. That's running. Yep. Some water. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to talk about my past. That is, my past before you. And my past before Audrey, even. Your past. Yeah, my past, yes. It's still very difficult for me because I'm not proud of it. I'm ashamed of it, to be honest. You shouldn't be, but it is hard for you to let go of that. Yeah, because I feel like I made a lot of mistakes that weren't necessarily honest mistakes, you know? I knew better, even then. You know that I think you're too tough on yourself. We all make mistakes, and we all, at times, know better. I know this, but this was so bad because I broke my professional code as a therapist. I got too close to a patient. I mean, several patients or clients. I have to be careful not to go into too much detail. I might have already in the past. Why don't you share what happened? Or what you can share without violating your former client's privacy? And no, I was going to say let people decide, but you shouldn't let people decide. You should share the truth as lived by you, and then I think you should stop beating yourself up. You have made amends. It doesn't matter what others think now. Yes, I know. Okay. So I was a young therapist, straight out of school, and I really cared about my clients, you know? I wanted to help them. I wanted to have some form of impact in their lives. And so sometimes I would do what older therapists and teachers during my training had told me not to do. And that was take their urgent calls at night. Tell them they could always text me. Meet them for coffee when they needed it. Share a bit about my own life now and then, when appropriate. Yeah. And most of them really appreciated that and rarely called me outside of our regular sessions. But some people really needed someone to listen to them often, you know? You wanted to be there. You wanted to help them. How can that be a bad thing? Because I knew I was getting too close. I wasn't giving them what they needed. I couldn't fill the void that they needed filled. I think I should have been braver about this. I should have told them so. I should have held on to certain boundaries. I might have been able to help them more if I had been braver and given them what they needed, not what they wanted. Maybe. But that was the best you could do at that time. Don't you think? No. I could have done better. I knew, even back then, that I was avoiding conflict. I was aware of the poor choices I was making. Maybe part of me also liked this role of the savior, you know? The always present friend, the super caring therapist. That wasn't my role, though. I wasn't supposed to be a friend. I was a trained therapist, and I wasn't doing my job properly. So, in the end, what happened that made you run away? I couldn't take it anymore. It was all too overwhelming. I was seeing quite a few patients at a discount, too, because I knew they couldn't afford therapy if I charged my real fee. I was overwhelmed by the financial stress, the constant calls and texts from patients, the pressure of it all. And so I ran. I abandoned them. I had met Audrey, and she was trying to get me to finally put up some boundaries. She was very nice about it, not pushy at all. I still hid most of it from her. She didn't know about the financial stuff or how often I saw patients outside regular sessions. You hid it from her because you knew she'd worry about it. I knew she would confront me about it. I knew she would tell me that I needed to change my way of working. I knew she wouldn't like certain things, like how I sometimes held a patient's hand. I told myself this was okay because I didn't have feelings. But that didn't matter, did it? I really did get too close. But then you moved in with Audrey. Yes, we got serious. And it was getting harder for me to, meet her. She lived in Windfall. It was a bit of a drive for me, and those were hours I would often spend meeting clients. I couldn't anymore because I wanted to see Audrey. And then some clients got upset. And that... Yes? There was a point where my own lack of boundaries sort of flipped into resentment. Resentment toward my clients. This made it possible for me to leave suddenly. I'm really ashamed to talk about it, and I take full responsibility. But yeah, that's what happened. I told myself they'd pushed me too far, and that the only way to escape was to disappear. Audrey didn't ask too many questions about my sudden decision because she was so relieved I was willing to leave the city. It sounds like you were completely overwhelmed and couldn't catch your breath. You were looking for a way out. I was. In a way, I feel like I've been overwhelmed or overwhelmed in the making ever since I was a kid. Maybe that's why I wanted to become a therapist in the first place, to help others survive this crazy world. But then you got the ultimate overwhelm, like what you've been through since Ellie put a spotlight on the coma center. I did. I really did. I guess there is no escape from the lesson you are meant to learn. You think you've escaped, but then the lesson catches up with you. I like that a lot. That feels true to me. I don't like it. And I'm not sure I've learned my lesson yet. Even now, with this podcast, I feel resentment toward the mob, for coming after us again. Yeah. I should have known better. I should have listened to the people who warned me that it would be the same all over again. They were right. It is happening all over again. They were right about the mob's side. But are you still the same? Huh. No. I don't think I am. So, it is different. Yes. It is really different. Has someone ever told you you'd make a great therapist? Dear Audrey, thank you for your message. I am so lucky to have met you and to still have you in my life. I know I hurt you again. I know I was a lousy partner quite often. I hope you know that I was stuck in many ways. I don't want to use this as an excuse. I know I should have done better, and I didn't. You deserved a better version of me. I hope I can be that version for you from now on as a friend. You, in the meantime, already are that friend to me. I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for you. Yes, please. I need help. Thank you. Hey, I thought a bit more about your message. I don't want you to think I am avoiding the topic of Usha. I was grateful that you mentioned her and that you wrote what you wrote. You're right. I really am in love with her. I understand why you are worried. I won't tell you not to. I'd worry about you too if the roles were reversed. Hey, so happy to hear from you. And as if I would ever fall in love like that. You did with me. Touché. Hey, don't disappear on me again, okay? It hurts. I won't. I promise. Okay. I'll let you know where you two can hide next, okay? Should be in an hour or so. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Hey, Catherine, so good to see you. Thank you for joining this video call. Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, it's been busy, as you know. Thanks for getting the last episode out so soon after I sent the recordings through. I know I was a little late. Also, you asked Usha to join, but she still considers herself an unofficial guest on the podcast, which I want to respect. But we were both very happy with the episode. I'm proud of our work together, so yeah. Right, great. No problem. Hey, Catherine, I'd like you to meet John here. He's our executive in the sales department. Hi. Good to meet you, John. Hi. Yes, so, John here would like to talk us through something about the podcast. Okay. Do you want to do that first, or hear my plan for the next episodes as requested? Hi, Catherine. How about I go first, and then we can discuss how your plan works along with what we wanted to share with you. Yeah, sure. Go right ahead, John. Okay, let me get this presentation started. Can you see my slides on the screen? Not yet. Okay, yes. I see the title screen now. Great. As you can see on the first slide, I'd like to share some insights into what is needed to get back on track with the podcast. Back on track? I thought we were doing great. The listener numbers are through the roof, no? They are. Unfortunately, income for the podcast has gone down. And while I know you give away the money you make from this production, we do have to pay the wages of our staff working on this. Okay, yes, of course. Your people need to get paid. As you can see right now, income has dropped dramatically over the last few episodes. Is that the... Yes, the red line. That's pretty dramatic. What's going on? As you can see on the next slide, advertisers started to put your podcast on their blacklist. Their blacklist? Yes. It's a list of podcasts advertisers don't want to be associated with. So, no ads before, after, or during these podcasts. Why? Why are they doing this? Why are they putting us on the list? Let's see the next slide. We did get in touch with a few of the agencies, and this is some of the feedback we got. John, maybe I can jump in here for a moment. Look, Catherine, remember how I sent you those messages about what the audience wants? Yes, of course. I always listen to them. Really? I mean, I play them and I listen to what you say, yes. Yes, but you have taken the podcast in a different direction. And I know you have a clear vision of what you want. I'm sure you feel like you're making the right decisions. And I admire your dedication to the way you see the story. Yeah, I'm really starting to, like I said, finally feel really proud of what we're doing. You know? And it's not just a story, it's our story. Usha's and my story. Yes, but you're not really optimizing the content to the audience as much as you could. You're doing the opposite, according to the agencies. You are now in a very uncomfortable territory for them. They don't want their content before or after political statements or religious indoctrination. What? But I do none of that. That's not what their sentiment scans say. Your podcast is now considered to be highly polarizing and politically fraught. Some listeners reported your content as Antifa-related. Antifa? The point is, Catherine, we need to turn this around and get back to the core of the story. That's exactly what I am doing. That's not what your audience says, Kate. But it's my story. Is it? Because a lot of people here depend on you to tell the story that helps pay their mortgages. That's the story they have been working on. I get that, but... I am going to send you the slides. They have lots of suggestions based on audience research and advertiser feedback, okay? Take those into account for the next episode, and I'm sure we can bring this ship back on course. If you show a good faith effort, I'm sure we can convince the agencies to reconsider for any future episodes. Okay. This was part 26 of Waking Up is Easy. This podcast has thousands of listeners around the globe, but it wouldn't be able to survive and reach all those people if not for a few people who support the podcast. These people help me create and publish this podcast by supporting it financially. If you appreciate this podcast and you would like to, see it survive for just a bit longer, please consider sending a one-time gift today or becoming a subscriber on Patreon. If you too want to pitch in and keep this podcast going, go to lesbianromantic.com/support. Or you can go to Patreon directly, patreon.com/lesbianromantic. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for spending time with me again this week on this free feed. And I will see you again soon with the next free episode, a gift from fellow listeners around the world on this feed very soon.